All right, it's preparing to live stream the meeting.
Okay.
All right, it looks like we are live. All right, live. Let me just take a minute here. Oh. All right, let me just take a minute here. Let me just take a minute here. Oh. And share into here. All right. All right, so welcome. All right.
Welcome.
All right, Jack, and okay, I can let people in this way now still while we're live on Facebook. All right, so welcome everybody, and thanks for joining and jumping on. I see one person, Jack, that is just jumping on, and he must be like the middle of the night over there. So woohoo! Congratulations for getting up in the middle of the night. So this is Rest and Replenish Seasonal Sound Codes. And I'm Nancy Anger. And
I'm Lydia Erickson.
Yeah, Erickson. So Lydia and I have known each other since we actually, we met through the sound codes in 2013, or we met through similar sound codes and a few other things. And it was just this past year, a little bit more, that we realized that when we come together and bring the sound codes and sing the sound codes together, it's even more magical. So at least that's been my experience. And so today we are, so we have our people in the Northern Hemisphere and people in the Southern Hemisphere, right? So we're in a change of season right now. Lydia and I are in the Northern Hemisphere, so we just are stepping into fall right now. The leaves are turning colors here and the leaves are starting to fall off the trees. If you are in the Southern Hemisphere, like Australia, it's the opposite, right? You're stepping into springtime. So, and in springtime, things are coming up from the earth, right? The new growth is happening. And so, yeah, so today we're going to talk about, or we're going to sing sound codes. We'll talk for a few minutes and then we're going to sing some sound codes for rest and replenish. So, you know, we have cycles of nature, change of season, but we have daily cycles, right? And it's what those, everyone needs rest every day, right? On some level, some more than others. And the trees in the fall where we are, the trees lose their leaves intentionally. Many trees, not all, but most trees lose their leaves so they can restore and replenish their energy for the next time spring comes around. They bring their energy inside so that they can keep the main part of the tree strong until the spring comes around. Yeah, so
similar things are happening even in the spring. You know, in the fall, there's the releasing through the leaves, and in the spring, there's also kind of shedding all of the winter yuck. And actually, even for the new plants that are coming up, they're pushing aside the forest litter, or, you know, the dead leaves that have fallen before. So there's a lot of, it was really interesting to do this because it made me look at a lot of the parallels there, that it's a great time in both seasons to let go and make space for what's new.
Yes, yeah. And so what's coming to mind, the word replenish, right? Also, what you just said, it makes me think of the word replenish as well. And like I'm kind of losing what I was going to say, but something you just said reminded me, replenish. So when I looked up like the word replenish, because that was what came through as part of what we wanted to share today, replenish was not only like taking water and refilling your cup, you know, refilling your energy, but one of the things that came up was like replenishing your hair. And part of it was stripping away the buildup, right? The life buildup. So I guess it's pretty cool for trees in the fall. They do all their work all spring and summer. and then they just let it go, right? That there's a lesson for humans right there, right? Let it go. So I did not know I was going to say that. So let it go so that whatever, whatever is new, and sometimes that's really tough, right? Letting go of whatever. Letting go, notice what you don't want to let go. That's probably the thing to at least be a little less attached to. So yeah, do you have any thoughts on that? Yeah, so
Well, it's always a
anyway,
good time. Yeah, it's always a good time to see what we're carrying around that maybe we don't need to carry anymore.
exactly. So one of the things that that I really felt strongly to share today, that it's a thing that I learned, well, a couple things. One, rest is a verb. It's also a noun, but in general, the first thing, if you look up the word rest in the dictionary, it is a verb. And most people don't think that. You wouldn't think that you would call rest something to do, right? Rest is not doing, but it actually is. It's a verb. So like 5 years ago, so I'm, oh, and it also means, one definition, to cease work or movement in order to relax, refresh oneself, or recover strength, right? So 5 years ago, so I've been a fitness person for many years. And 5 years ago, it was in the springtime, actually. And, we might think spring, let's amp up, right? But I was feeling to amp down a little bit with my fitness and just to do a little more body train, just yoga and things like that. And then a few months in, all of a sudden I got this invitation to do a fitness challenge. And I had done it the past couple of years, but it was like, it came up and I was like, wow, I'm so excited. And I signed up and went all out this time. It was for the cover of a fitness magazine, right? And I was like, I never did that part before. I was like, I'll do the challenge, but to actually step in. And I did it. And because I feel like totally because I had rested and my body was in this good place for like charged up energy, the 90-day challenge I did, it was amazing. I had fun. I loved it. And yet I hit spot on and I came very close to the cover of that magazine. And I was like 55. Okay. Most of the people that get the cover of that magazine a lot of them are in their 20s, some of them a little, 30. But I was like, I attribute a lot of that to that rest that I did before that.
Rest can be revolutionary too, if you think about it. Like, we're in our society, it's in what seems to have become kind of global society is this kind of assumption that we're just going to keep going and keep going and keep doing and keep pushing, and when you stop and rest, and it's almost like you're going the opposite direction, and you're creating that space that others can follow that path too. You're creating that kind of like energetic circuitry that they can find to follow to that place of rest and stop and just receive.
So what comes to mind is that it actually is courageous to do the thing that you feel really called to do, right? So it's a courageous thing. So sometimes sometimes I think it's a courageous thing sometimes, because we get so much input from the external that tells us to do more and be more and et cetera, et cetera. But when we turn, so I just spent the past few months really pulled back a lot from the external, including social media and some things for like a few months. And it gave me like that reboot and reset to really tune into myself. So. All right, we're going to do some sound codes. So I know some of you guys know a little bit about sound codes. Some of you have experienced them, and I love that you are back again for more because they are really amazing. So I first learned about them in 2013 when I had my atlas, which is the first vertebrae of my neck, balanced with sound codes. Never heard of such a thing before, but I was like, all right, I've had a lot of neck pain in my life. I'm really open to this thing. And it was amazing. It was very relaxing. You can have your experience for yourself, but I found it so relaxing and life-changing. So sound codes work on the physical, mental, spiritual, emotional level at the same time. They're like melodies or specific, it's like a language that your body and your energy field understands. Do you want to add some more to that, Lydia?
Sure. Yeah. So it's something that we all, have within us. And I think it's also something that it goes beyond the conscious mind, and it taps into this deeper wisdom within us that we don't always have words for. And yeah, it's still pretty amazing to me.
Yes.
that sound can move bones, for example, but all of, it just, the amount of things that we don't know about it is also really fascinating.
Yes, more and more, yeah, more and more is being, I think, uncovered since we first learned about them. We're discovering more and more, but I think what you just said is really important. It's like I think, what was it? What's his name? Oh, Einstein. He said something like, you can't think your way out of a problem with the same thinking that got you into it. There's something like that. And that's where sound codes, they go beyond what we might understand with our rational mind, and they access something deeper. But it's like I don't know, I always say this, it's like the lipstick they used to have years ago that you put it on and it adjusts the color to your lips, or the mood ring, right? So sound codes adjust to your energy field. So if you have some water nearby, if you don't, it's good to drink water. Water is such a great conduit for energy, but a conduit for sound especially. So make sure you are comfortable, and if you're in a place where you can close your eyes when you're listening to this, just take a nice breath in. And as you exhale, close your eyes, and just as much as possible, just bring your energy present into this present moment. Invite it back in. Invite your energy in. So I sometimes think of little cords, right? Our cords of energy reach out. So just imagine you're unplugging cords of energy from the external for this time right now. So I'm thinking of like a tree and going into the acorn, right? The tree starts as the acorn. So almost like you're the tree, but you're pulling your energy into that acorn yourself right now. And just take a couple of nice breaths in and out. Dao ta, Dao ta, Dao ta. Ia-oa, ia-oa-oa. Ia-oa, ia-oa-oa. Ia-oa, ia-oa-oa. That code is for, well, there was a couple codes, but that one, the second one, is easy water hydration, just allowing more flow in the cells of your body.
And we have a few water related codes in here. One is a water blessing, and another is the river of light, which is connected to the flow of our energy through our field. And we have quite a few others we'll share with you too. Luna day, Luna oh, Luna day, Luna oh, Luna day, Luna oh, Luna day, Luna oh.
Ayali, 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 ayali. Oh, oh, ayali, ayali, ayali. Oh, oh, Aili, Aili, Aili. Oh, oh. And then some clearing. Dia, 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 dia.
Some more water, energy movement. Siwo, siwo, wea. 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 Ai, ya. Ai, ya. Ai, ya. Ai, ya. Ai, ya. Kalai, kalai, oh, kalai, oh, kalai, 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 oh, kalai, oh, kalai, 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 oh, kalai, oh, kalai, 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 oh. Galayo, galayo. Om my heart, Om my, Om my heart, Om my, Om my heart, Om my, Om my heart. Di-I-E-O, 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 Di-I-E-O. Om Maya, Om Ma, Om Maya, Om Ma, Om Maya, Om.
and so below. Mother Earth, Father Sky. Hi-oh, 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 hi-oh. Hi-om, 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 hi-om. Hawen, 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 hawen.
A little echo.
Yeah, it was coming in and out a little bit for me, but at the very end there, so. I was getting a lot of truth bumps and different codes were coming through, so. You may or may not feel sound codes in your body, you know, every time I hear them, every time you hear them, you will experience different things in different ways at different times. If you have water nearby, I highly suggest you take a sip or two. Yes, take some water. So I was thinking as I was singing, and it was just, I think, a little reminder. So I learned about sound codes in 2013. And if you asked me, and you told me then that I was going to be singing sound codes someday, I would have been yeah, right. And never mind that I'd be singing them live on Facebook and whatever, you know, but the truth is I felt very called to it a year after I took it, and they made such a huge difference in my life that I just told my ego, please step aside because this is what I'm feeling called to do. And so now I feel much differently about my voice, but I did not think I had a good voice. And so one of the really cool things about sound codes, first of all, they can be sung out loud or to yourself, but they actually develop your voice, including your throat chakra, which is a really important chakra, but they're all important. But sound codes help develop your voice. So you don't have to be a singer to sing sound codes or to learn sound codes. I would love to hear if anybody has anything they want to share, whether you're watching replay or watching live. And I appreciate people that are jumping on and seeing your lovely faces, because we're on Zoom as well as Facebook. So when you're on Zoom too, you get to see some faces besides Lydia's lovely face. Say that 10 times fast. So if you are on Zoom and you have anything you want to share or a question or comment, anything in the chat box. If you are on Facebook, I will try to be aware and look here if I see any comments on Facebook. So, or, you know, we'll check back later too if you comment on Facebook as well. So, as I said, Lydia and I started to come together last year and really realized that we had a deeper connection and a passion for a joy working together. And so when I first learned Atlas balancing, or I first experienced it a year later in 2014, I took the training and Lydia took the training at her house actually that year as well. And just last year, our teacher, Elizabeth from Germany, offered a training that allowed us to become trainers. And so Lydia and I next month, and I'm getting more truth bumps again, we are offering a sound codes training to become a sound code therapist, Dao sound code therapy. And when we took the trainings, we had a training that was, I think, 7 days for Atlas balance, and then months later, another one for body balance, which was like the coccyx and the sacrum. And now we are bringing this all together in one training. It's a 3-day training plus an extra bonus weekend. It's on Zoom, so people can join. You don't have to travel to go to it, but the weekend after, so it's the 3rd weekend in October, 21, 2, and 3, and then the 29th, we're doing a special bonus. So people that do want to come in person can come in person, but we're also going to do it by Zoom. So it is I'm really excited. Do you have something you want to share about it, Lydia?
It is amazing to think, all the time into this, and the work has kind of evolved to the point that things are, it's more, it's come together in a way, because it used to be separated out into the whole Atlas balancing training. And, yeah, and just the bonus weekend is for people to practice, and for us to be, anything that we aren't able to do, or it doesn't feel like we're able to do online, but you would still receive everything that you needed.
Yes, so there's 2 pieces. One is the universal sound codes training, which we taught a few months back, I think in June, and that's kind of the opener for us, the beginning, and it's a bunch of beautiful sound codes. Some of them we sang today, and they can be used for a lot of things, not just working with the spine and not just the Atlas and body balance, but they also work together. So the part that we're bringing next is the sound code training, where we're going to be teaching you how to work with the Atlas, the body. The Atlas is the first vertebrae in the neck, and if one bone, especially a key bone like that, is out of alignment a little bit, which it is in most people, if you were born before 2020 and you haven't had your Atlas balance, there's a really good chance that yours is out of alignment. That was the key missing piece. I had been practicing yoga and doing all of these things to try to, and going to the chiropractor and getting massage and doing all these things to try to feel better in my neck and my back. And some of those things helped, but it wasn't until I actually had my Atlas balance with sound codes that I actually was like, oh, my body, it relaxed. It was like, wow, I can hold my posture now without trying to like force it, and I had been practicing yoga for 14 years at that point. So, and teaching, and, it was a long journey, and Atlas made a huge difference. And then the other end is the sacrum and the tailbone, and bringing the energy up the spine. And then, so it's really beautiful. The codes are, they do the work. You're the facilitator. We teach you, but you're the facilitator, and the work that comes through it's always the perfect thing of what is meant to come through. So we're excited that we're going to be offering this training in October. I will put a link below. Like I said, we're bringing a bonus in for an extra day. That, let me see if I can throw the link into the Zoom right now, and then I'll put it on Facebook after. I'll put the link in the Zoom text box if I can find out where that is right now. Let's see, where is the chat box? And then we're also doing an early bird discount. So if you register early, you get a little discount, or a good discount. Actually, when Lydia and I took the training, it was a lot more expensive, and it was perfect and it was fine, but now it's shorter and it's less, a little bit less investment, but it's a huge investment in yourself, for yourself and for others. When I took this training myself, I just felt called to it. I do things sometimes because I feel called and I don't know how it's going to unfold. It's like when you plant a seed in the garden, sometimes you don't know what's going to come out. And I remember once I had people coming in, they're like, I want that thing. Like, I didn't even have to like sell it. I remember somebody coming into my yoga studio, they're like, I want that thing, you know, like with the neck. It's like- So honestly, like it's like people just know, and you, if you're feeling called to this, if you have questions or whatever, just really check in with yourself. And I feel like it's a calling, you know, you just, you know, some part of you, and it's not from the ego place, it's something beyond. Yeah, but anyways, so I just popped that link into the chat, the Zoom chat, and I'm also going to pop it in on Facebook after I hop off. So yeah.
To let you know, some of these codes that we were seeing today, some of those are the sound codes that we would be teaching, and some are actually our own sound codes that are from different modalities.
Yes.
Some of them you may recognize for those of you who've already experienced Atlas balancing, and some of them might sound a little new.
Yes. So
And sometimes people think, I just felt like this was important to share it too, is that people think that Atlas balancing is all about the Atlas, and it's really working with your whole spine, and a lot of different energy systems and other things are being affected by the session too. So it's not just the Atlas. I mean, the Atlas affects so much in our bodies.
right, yes, and this, so sorry, your voice disappeared. I thought you were done, but the spine is supposed to be in an S curve, and it's a shock absorber, and it supports our nervous system and so many other things. And so, and our body is, when the conditions are right, your body will heal itself or bring itself into alignment. So it's bringing back that balance. All right. So do we feel replenished? We have a good sound, a little sound code rest. So rest doesn't, but you know, when we say rest too, rest is however long it takes. It could be a couple of minutes, it could be longer, but it's important to take that time. So anyway, thank you so much for joining us today. If it resonates, we would love, we're excited. People have already started to sign up for the Staff of Life training. It's people have already started to sign up, and we're excited. So thanks for joining us. Yay. Thank you. Thanks, Anna. Thanks, Jack. Thanks, Joy and Chestnut Hill Physical Therapy. All right. Well, thank you. If anybody has questions, reach out and have a beautiful day. All right.
You guys, it was great. I'm gonna
Awesome.
go back to bed now.
All right. Thank you, Jack.
Bye.
All right.
But yeah, no, it's good to see you again as well. It's been a little while since I've been in here.
Okay.
I've just moved into my new house, so I'm I don't know, I feel like I've just been a seed underground, and now I'm ready to sprout, ready to grow.
That's awesome.
About the best way I can describe it. Anyway, thank you so much.
You're welcome. All right.
See you.
Bye.
Okay.
All right.